Hi, listeners. It's Brendan. I know it's been a while, but I'm still here making sure that the podcast gets released every week. Before we get into this week's episode, just wanted to take a moment and thank our wonderful talent, Chris Lynch, for providing the voiceover that you hear in our new introduction and closing every week. So thank you, Chris. It's been a pleasure working with you. As for this week's episode, we have something special in line for you. I'm going to let Deirdre and Law explain what's up as we veer a little bit to the left than what you're used to, but it's worth listening. Enjoy it.
We are back at Studio 4B. Here's former CNN broadcasting titan Dan Lothian, checking the mics, warming his voice, and ensuring he looks impeccable despite this being an audio-only podcast. And making her dramatic entrance, double-fisting ice water and iced coffee, coach extraordinaire, guru of the voice and performance world, Law Lapidez. Let's find out what magical corner of the entertainment and media business they'll explore next. Voiceover, acting, broadcasting, journalism, agents, auditions, and now, get ready for Mic, Camera, Action, Talking Shaw!
This is really a cool show for our listeners. We have a little bit of a different game plan going on today. My man Dan is on the road. He's down in the Carolinas with his family doing some incredible stuff, but we are still on the air because you know why? The show must go on, and I have really cool guests for you today. I have my lead coach, Deirdre McCarthy.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
And she's been on once or twice and will continue to be on. So just keep following her work at the studio. It's really exciting. And we have her Improv Mania class that is going to come on and really share what it's like to be doing improvisation.
Yeah, well, I was so excited that you asked me to do this on the podcast today because a lot of times people are asking me, why do people come to improv or what do they get out of that?
Why do they? What's the main reason?
Isn't that funny? Because people think it's so uncomfortable. Why would anybody choose to put themselves in that? But it really is the ultimate preparation for an actor, for a person in the business world, and for life. Because the whole philosophy behind improv is to say yes, to allow your imagination to expand, to be ready for any situation, and to be game, basically. Don't be afraid. It's a pushing through fear walls.
It's really kind of the underbelly of all actor training, isn't it? To be able to think fast on your feet and be creative and say yes and just be ready to jump in.
And the other part of it that people forget, Law, is the listening part. As a world, we don't listen enough. We just don't. And in order to be good in the improv game, you have to listen. So actually, speaking of being good in the improv game, some of what you're going to hear today is my focus for this class is competitive improv.
Oh, I love that. That is so much fun. If you haven't seen or done competitive improv, it's just the coolest sport out there.
Yeah, so we're going to give it a whirl today. We're going to hope that everybody brings their A game, and you'll get to meet a lot of the people that are in the class, and then you'll see a couple of them actually doing some competitive improv live on the mic.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's not waste any time. Here we go. We're going to hear each actor. I think they're going to introduce themselves. I hope they will. And talk a little bit about who they are and what their experience is like, not just being at our studio, but being an actor in the world and all the challenges that they're up against and how improv really, helps fix some of the problems that we encounter as performers.
Yeah, it's fuel.
It's a fuel. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Hi, I'm Deirdre McCarthy, and I'm here at the Law Lapidez studio teaching an improv class tonight. One of my favorite things to do. I encourage everyone to take improv. So, of course, we know why actors take improv. It increases their skill on stage, their ability to think quickly, to react to different types of situations, to really be in the moment and open up sort of those creative parts of their brain, which is amazing once we access that and we work it like a muscle and they get even better and better and better.
Hi, this is Arya Lapidez. One of the things that definitely helped my acting was improv throughout the years. I took classes when I was younger at my mom's studio, always going in and out of crazy scenes, just people's limbs flying, imaginations just going wild. And I guess that was the amazing part of it. Our minds were the canvas and we were the builders making scenes out of thin air, which was amazing when you went home and you're like, I just pulled that out of nothing and I made that with that person and we built that together. I see improv as taking the acting tool and just sharpening it and sharpening your brain. Like reading and writing, improv is to acting.
What a lot of people don't realize is how great improv is for pretty much everything else in life. So think about all of the times in the business world you are challenged by something you didn't expect. You're thrown into a situation that you didn't really plan for, or you get asked a question that you haven't thought out an answer for yet, and you have to think on your feet, and you have to do something that keeps things open and positive and moving in the direction that you want. Believe it or not, practicing an improv class can give you the kind of self-confidence and the kind of thinking on your feet, and most importantly, listening skills that it takes to do that.
Hi, I'm Leslie Hallowell, and I have loved learning improv at La Lapidus' studio. I've learned how to not hold on to outcomes or my idea of things so tightly, which gives me confidence when I'm not doing improv. It's taught me to discern whether I'm talking to a group of people the way one might for an audience versus, a live audience, which is a different way of delivering something than I would to a friend in a car or across the table. And those are little subtleties that improv teaches you to make a choice, practice it, follow it through, and then you can do it on command in life, like in conversation with someone at the grocery store. And it's real. That it's a speed and agility muscle to work that can serve me well for when maybe I've memorized a script or something. Things will still change in the last minute or moment. So improv gives me that feeling of I can handle it.
We've become a world of speakers rather than listeners. And one of the key parts to being successful in improv is to do some active listening. When you listen actively to your partner, you are more likely to respond in a way that creates a good story or opens up the improv activity.
Malka Korenstein. Improv is my middle name. I love improv, and the reason for that is it brings out the little child in me, because I'm really a kid at heart. I haven't grown up. I think I'm still a toddler inside. Improv lets me feel free, and it lets me really be myself. It brings out just a natural part of me, and I could be just very relaxed. We made friends in the class very easily. We bonded, and we had a bunch of really good times. You need to have not sometimes, all the time, you need to have a connection that makes it conversational. The voiceover, like it's who you are and who you're talking to, and what makes it easier is doing an improv with someone else, to imagine that, you're talking to, someone, and to improv it with somebody else, just to go off script and the other person responds just spontaneously, and that helps you relax and to have a conversation versus just strictly, on script.
We need to listen more carefully so that we really understand the situation we're in and respond appropriately. Not to mention, it just makes you braver.
Hi, I'm Buzz Anderson. I took an improv class about 5 years ago because I was looking for a new acting class, and it was so much fun with new people. And then I took improv 2, and it wasn't so much fun. It was a lot harder, but it was exhilarating when the exercises, when I started to get it. It's very hard. My perspective is that I wish I could do it better, And when I am able to open up my mind and just let things come out and listen and follow crazy paths, it's really fun. It allows you to put yourself in the situation and see how you would feel. I did once in a class here where I was the father telling his daughter that he wasn't going to pay for her tuition. And that ended up being like a tirade. But it was powerful.
The foundation of improv is the ability to say yes and, to always agree and be willing to take it to the next place, to be game, to be ready to just go with the flow.
Hi, I'm Bill Weimer. Improv's helped me, particularly when I was in my sales career, because there would be times when things would not go quite right with the presentation from a technical perspective, and someone would have to fill and keep people's attention while whatever it was repaired and ready to go again. So I often ended up in the role of a on-the-spot comedian kind of role. So at one user group, that lasted for a half an hour. And I realized it would, and I actually started by saying, I wish I brought my top hat and my cane. When you're in the middle of a monologue and you're missing something at that second, you have to fill it with something else. And that's improvisation in its rawest form. And so being able to be nimble inside of some event that you're working with is extremely important. And that's the essence to me of improvisation.
And if all of us could learn to do that better, think about how much more amazing our quality of life would be.
Hi, I'm Cody Weimar, and I'm participating in this improv class today. Well, it definitely put me on the spot, as it would anybody in improv class, which was a nice change of pace, get me out of my comfort zone. Being a musician, it's easy to kind of feel totally comfortable on stage rather than being completely open with yourself. Kind of puts you in a different headspace, I guess, when you're on stage. But when you're sitting down in a group of people and all you have is the word go and you got to come up with it on the spot, it's definitely pretty jarring, and you need to be ready to handle it, which I'm still getting there. I feel like it'll help me be a little bit more comfortable with myself, as I've already kind of felt, because I'm very self-conscious. I feel a lot of artists are, as well as, just everyday people are. And being in improv class helps me just be comfortable with who I am a little bit more and be ready for the unexpected. So if, say, I get off stage and a fan comes up to me and puts me on the spot and says, hey, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And, you have to, be right there ready to respond, or else you will look rude, So being a little bit more open to talking to people, I think, is going to be a byproduct from hanging out in improv class.
Hi, I'm Carol Alpert. When I first heard about improv, I actually thought it was for pure entertainment. And then once I delved into it, started taking classes and being a part of it, I realized it is crucial for everyone, whether you're an actor, whether you're a public speaker, whether you're a teacher, or any type of interaction you may have in your life, because it makes you think quickly on your feet. You have to answer questions. It really teaches you how to be quick and to answer questions effectively and without sounding too rambly.
So we're going to do a little snippet of a game that we've done in class, and it really focuses on active listening, and it's called the question game. So the two participants that are involved in this game, they're literally competing against each other to see how long they can last. And what the goal is is to always speak in a question. So they're given a location, and within that location, they have to have a conversation. That conversation has to make sense, be logical, and move things forward, but they can only speak to each other in questions. It's a lot of fun, and it really keeps you on your toes.
Have you ever done this before?
Have I met you before?
Where would you have met me?
How do you look so familiar?
Would you like to get a drink now?
Shouldn't we use our 8 minutes?
I beg your pardon?
Is that a question?
Do I have a choice in how we spend our time?
Have you talked to all the other people?
Like, who would I speak to?
What's your favorite thing you've ever done on a date?
Do you really want to hear my favorite thing?
How about 3 of them?
Do you think we could start with something less listy?
How old are you?
Is that any of your business?
How am I going to stay away from lists?
Don't you think there's other things to ask me, like right now?
How did your eyes get so beautiful?
Did you notice them first thing or just now?
How could I know? I've been in a daze.
What kind of days do you think?
Happy days. Oh.
And to keep them on their toes, we changed scenes. What you're about to hear is Leslie and Buzz at a grocery store reaching for the same item.
How could I do that?
Do you really need it? Because
how can I help you?
You need this more than me?
You think there's only one?
Do you think they could get another one from the back?
Why don't we ask?
Will it be in 5 minutes?
How come you're in a hurry?
Is that really any of your business?
How would I know? We just met.
Where is the manager?
Are you going to accuse me of something?
Oh, what would make you say that?
How often do you get so red in the face?
So life is a big question after all, isn't it?
Absolutely. We like to think in questions. We like to talk in questions, talk about them being on their toes. They did a great job.
I know. And what is the answer? We never know the answer.
I don't know. Why would you ask?
I'll tell you the answer. The answer is every single performer, and we do tons of voiceover at our studio, needs to really be able to work with improvisation as a tool, as a technical tool to, free your soul, free your spirit, and have fun. What about having fun? Whatever happened to having fun?
Absolutely. Have fun and be ready.
Yeah.
For anything.
And that's what this whole industry is like. You literally never know what's around the corner.
You absolutely do not. So they're prepared.
Yeah, and it's creatures that want to know what's going on and what's coming that kind of drives us crazy.
It's true.
Right?
It's so true. We want answers, but you know what? Sometimes there's only questions.
This is true. And, this is fantastic. And I have seen these particular actors in studio over the course of the years really take huge steps in their training.
I'm so proud of all of them. They've really moved so far, and it's been fun to watch the journey.
Yeah, going from an amateur status to a professional status.
Yeah, I mean, so many of them are represented by agents now, and so many of them are working out in the field. It's really exciting.
It's very exciting. So listeners, you've got to improv. Do it now. Say yes. Don't say no. And just take a risk. It's worth it.
And I'll see you on Wednesday night.
Our champions have left the field and left you with the tools and techniques to get you working in the biz. Be sure to pick up your copy of their latest and greatest book project, 50 Ways to Mega Crush Your Media Career, found on Amazon.com. Also, be sure to rate this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found this fine product. Want to talk directly to Law and/or Dan? Find them at littleparkmedia.com and lawlapidescompany.com. See you next episode of Mike, Camera, Action, Talking Shaw!